Hey, yo, what's going on, fam? It's your boy, Ben Wexler. Today, I'm going to talk about why neediness is a killer of attraction in the eyes of a woman. Now, it's counterintuitive. It's one of the many contradictory things of life, right? First of all, I want to say that men are actually the ones that are the romantic type. We are, if you actually think about it, we are the ones that we're very quick to fall in love. We're very quick to like see our unborn children in her eyes. We're very quick to think about like building a house and a family and that kind of thing with a woman that we start to generate attraction to/with, right? And that's because, in a lot of ways, it's security, right? Having someone there, it's like you're done. You don't have to worry about this game of, hunting and foraging anymore and like self-improvement to a certain degree, right? Like women, this is something that women don't really have to worry about because they are just overwhelmed by male inquiries, right? Their DMs are just flooded. Like my gym crush, she posted a booty pic, her booty pump photo, and then she posted a screen recording that had blurred out all the names it was just like the list of all the people that heart reacted that photo. It was just a photo. And dude, the list was like a minute long. I thought it was just gonna be like a couple scrolls. No. Like just the people that liked that photo. Not even just the people that saw the photo. Seriously, it was just, and she has like a lot of followers and stuff too, so you gotta factor that in. But like, if you don't know, right, women are just overwhelmed with DMs and likes, and like if you post a selfie, unless you're like a really handsome dude, you probably like maybe one or two people will heart it. And I mean, there's a lot behind that too, which is like when men will heart a woman's photo because they think that it shows that we like them, and that it's like we think it's gonna help us, hook up with them or get with them or whatever, but women don't do that, right? As a matter of fact, there's this one girl who I'm kind of talking to who she likes all my photos, all my memes and stuff. Not all of them, but she'll never like one of my selfies ever, right? And that's because women work on a different way, right? Women don't want to show that because they don't want to show reaction. They don't want to give it away, which is what I think that we as men need to collectively learn and understand, is that we want security. We want to we want to be done. We want to be done with this. I think that's, if I were to guess why, it would be that. Now, that's just a guess. I don't know that for sure, but I do know that the behavior is there. The behavior, the desire is there. We want that one. But see, women, to a woman, right? Her reality, and women also have a very difficult time actually understanding a man's experience. There's this documentary of this like woman that kind of had masculine features in like the 70s, 80s. She literally basically transitioned way before the trans movement was a thing. She didn't do any surgery or whatever. Like she just started dressing up like a man. And I guess because she looked kind of like a man already, that like no one ever questioned it. And anyway, she was just completely shocked at her experience. She thought that up until that point that men just had everything so much better than women. Just so much better than women. And that's kind of why she did it. She did it to prove that. And then she was slapped in the face by the utter truth, which is the exact opposite. And in today's day and age, it's even worse. It's even worse than it was in the 80s. you know, unless we do self-improvement work together. This is why I believe men's self-improvement is literally the key to saving our future generations. It's all on the hands of men right now, which is one of the reasons I started this channel. So anyway, then I saw this other reel, which showed this girl, very recent, this just happened. It can't be more than a few months old. She has her male best friend. Now that already says a lot, right? This guy probably isn't very good looking. Because if he was, they wouldn't be friends, right? Something would happen. This dude is obviously friend zoned. And anyway, so she claims he's a 6. That's probably a fair estimate. Maybe lower, probably a 4. And she makes a dating profile to him because she's just for him. She's basically just like, why don't you get on on Bumble and like just start dating? Because again, women don't really have an idea. They really don't understand what the average male experience is like. They really, really don't. And she does. And then by the end of the TikTok, she's just saying that she actually is like coming to hate women because no one's matching with her. I guess, I think no one's matching with the dude at all. And I think maybe even if he is getting some matches, like it's like no one's responding to him. The experience. We all know the experience, but women don't understand. And that comes back to the point that I'm trying to make is that women, I think, to some degree, think that we are experiencing the same thing. They think that our DMs are like full of girls, right? Especially like, if you're a man that's desirable, right? Like pretty much any girl is gonna have some degree of men in her DMs, right? But the way women work with hypergamy is that in order to get any women, you have to be able to get all women, right? It's not like the 3s want the 3s and the 4s want the 4s and the 5s want the 5s. It's not like that. That's kind of how men think. But it's like literally all, whether you're a 1 to a 10, they all want the 8, 9, or 10, and that's all that they want, right? So online dating works really well for those guys, right? Those guys basically get all the girls and everybody else gets none of the girls. And so, but I think that, women have, so obviously if she's interested in you, then she sees you as an 8, 9, or a 10. And so she thinks that, to some degree that she's not your only option and that you're like playing her. Like you're spinning her on a plate, as Rollo Tomasi likes to say. It's called spinning plates, right? You're spinning a bunch of plates until eventually you find one that you like, and then you choose her to be your wife, and then you have a family with her, right? That's the ideal way of dating, right? Is you want to date a handful of women, and you want to basically rotate them in and out, right? So let's say 5, right? You pick 5 is a lot, but like let's say you have 5 women, right? One of them starts kind of, she's not really making the cut anymore. You loop her out, you loop a new one in, and you just keep doing this cycle until you find the best one, like that outcompetes all the other ones, and you just know for sure this is the woman that I want to start a family with. And then you choose her, right? And she knows that to some degree, you don't want to be direct about it, but she knows by the way that you carry yourself and the one I'm about to talk about, that you chose her. And that carries with you through the duration of your relationship. She knows that. She will always know that. Right? And so anytime that that's baked into the relationship. So there's a certain level of respect versus like you caught this girl, like you convinced her to be with you, right? Because then that means that she like settled for you versus you're letting her know, yo, I had other women, I chose you, right? How much more of a secure energy does that have with it? And so neediness does the opposite of all of this, Okay? Neediness signals that you don't have any other women. Okay? Because if you had other women, why would you give up all these other women for her so easily? Right? And I want to say too, I would argue, I don't know this for sure, but this is speculation. I would say neediness is something that is better off later. Like after you've chosen her, after you've had several children, after you have the house with the white picket fence, and then you kind of every day you see her, and then you need her, and you show it with her eye, with your eyes, and you show it with your body language, and you just always loving up on her. You make her feel loved every single day. You never take that for granted, right? You have to renew your love to her every day. You never take that for granted. And I would say that, even though a lot of the ways that the game is skewed heavily against men right now, but I would say that one of the easiest ways that we fuck up, probably the biggest way, is you start to take her love for granted. Amongst one, there's that, and then there's also you listen to her too much, and you don't do what you want to do. You let her clothe you, you let her tell you what to wear, you let her tell you where to go. You always have to ask her for permission to stuff, and she slowly loses respect for you, right? Versus having that masculine essence, right? And that also comes from neediness. That also comes from you feeling like if you don't please her, that she's not going to put out, right? Versus you doing what you want to do, and then her being attracted to that, so then she puts out, right? Women are also they're always, it's called competition anxiety. When you let them know subliminally that there are other women that want to date you, she's not the only option. When you let them know subliminally, it keeps them on their toes. And so they'll do things for you, right? If the threat of leaving is just no longer there, then the respect starts to bleed a little bit. But I would still venture and say that if you look at couples that are just you see them, they're 50, 60, 70, and they still look like they fell in love yesterday. I think that's actually largely to do with men. That largely has to do with men every day committing to being in love with her. If she's washing dishes, you come behind her and you give her a big hug and you kiss her on the neck or the ear, and you tell her you love her. And I think that kind of neediness is good, but that neediness is warranted because you've been through so much together at that point. You've been together for years. Lord knows what kind of trials and tribulations that you've endured together. You've seen her carry several of your children. From the moment of getting pregnant to being pregnant and everything that entails, giving birth and then raising the baby and balancing job and money and house and family, your family, her family. You know what I mean? It's warranted at that point. But if you just met this girl and you're starting to get all tingly, the butterflies in your stomach, and you start to just let your guard down and you start to turn to mush. And I think that it's one of two things. Either women can feel it in a psychic way. They can just feel it. They can feel it from miles away. They can sniff it on you. They can feel when you don't even have to say anything. If you just think it, and they'll just start to, he's doing it. He's picturing the white picket fence. He's picturing, a future together. Either they can feel it psychically, or we are just, we're kind of dumb in a lot of ways. And this is one of those ways, is that we are not as slick as we think we are. And I think we're a lot more obvious than we think we are. I definitely am, for sure. But I think I also believe that humans are innately psychic, and that this is one of the things that's been kind of brainwashed out of us over centuries, because the powers that be want us to be disempowered. And one of the ways that we could be empowered is, acknowledging that we are psychic to a degree, at least to a degree. Some of us more than others, but I think everyone can sense auras, for sure. The ESP enigma, like how many times can you count in your life when you felt someone looking at you or you just felt like you needed to turn around for no reason, and then you turn around and someone's looking at you? How many hundreds of times does that happen to you in your life? So many times. What more proof do you need? One more. How many times have you thought about someone and then they called you? What more proof do you need than that? Okay? Anyways, so like they can feel it when you're doing it, dude. And it dries them up. It dries them up real fast. And the reason is because it signifies that you don't have as many women as you thought she did, right? Women like to be options. They like to know that one thing that like women really like in men is that they like to know that other women want you. They're just wired like that. That's just the way it is. And so like if they know that no women wants you for some reason, they could go from thinking that you're the love of their life and then realizing that no other women want you to nothing. Shoom, nothing. And so you always want to let them know that you have options. Now here's the real kicker, is that some of us will have options. We do have options. If we didn't have options, then we probably wouldn't be in this position in the first place, to where we're meeting someone, right? And so, but you might like we like I said in the beginning of the video, we are the lovers, we are the romantic ones. And even if we have options, we can still fall into this trap. And so take that, how you will. But the second reason is that if you are so willing to give this woman the family farm within a couple weeks of meeting her, that shows insecurity. Like, not insecurity as in like lack of confidence, but like you're not a secure person. Because what if the same or similar or even a little bit better looking type of girl came along and you had a very similar interaction? And again, you only known this girl for a couple weeks, right? There's not that much that could transpire, okay? They're really like you haven't faced anything together. You barely even know this person. Like I feel like you really only start to know someone when you have a disagreement with them. How does this person handle a disagreement? How does this person handle accountability? How does this person handle their emotions whenever things aren't going well? How does this person handle stress? How does this person handle feedback? How does this person dish feedback to you? These are all very critical questions that you have no idea about. Zero. If you've only known a girl for 2 weeks, chances are you have not had a fight. And it doesn't have to be a full-blown fight, but it could just any kind of disagreement, any kind of like, and this is one of those, I think this is one of those reasons why women do shit tests, is like they disagree. They'll disagree with you on purpose early on in the relationship, even before if the relationship was ever a thing, to see how you handle. Are you going to plant your flag? Are you going to dig your heels into the ground? Or are you going to fold? If she I think that one of the problems that a lot of my guy friends have is that they'll be on a date with a woman, and then the woman will just out of nowhere start talking about being a Democrat. Now, I have a suspicion that it's because they could sense that my homie is not a Democrat, and they want to see, okay, what are you going to do about this? It's not even about politics at that point. It's about the disagreement. It's about, will you stand up for yourself? Will you disagree with me because it's what you believe to be is true? Which is, I think, one of the heart of masculinity. I think masculinity can be distilled down into two parts. Know what you're about and be about it. And the speaking your truth is the being about it. Right? Andrew Tate talks about this a lot. Like, say how you feel, say the truth. But that's for another time. Okay? And so, like, if you were gonna, if another girl comes along and she's just like, she shows you the same interest, maybe you have a great weekend together, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you're gonna fall in love with this girl, dog, that's weak sauce. Like, think about it from your bloodline, bro. Think about it like if you were the prince of a long line of just savage men, just distinct, men. And that was just like thwarted by some Jezebel who came over and seduced you with her cuddles and her affection and her sex and her beauty. And that's all it took to just secure your bloodline to hers. It's weak sauce. It's weak sauce. And that's why, it sucks, but, this is, a lot of us need this kind of work because we were taught the wrong thing. We were taught how to be men by women. Most of us grew up without fathers. Most of us grew up in a feminist society where we're taught that men and women are exactly equal, and that if you try to, put women in their place, so to speak, if you try to make women do women things, that you're oppressing them, right? And that women should be able to do whatever they want to do, which is its own subject, and I think it's been beaten to death. It's just been beaten to death at this point, and I don't think I need to go off on that at all. But and also we've been taught that like it's okay for men to be vulnerable, especially to women, and women will still to this day defend that to the death because God bless them. Women are the feminine, and the feminine is the nurturing spirit. Okay, it's the Democrat spirit, which the Democrat spirit is like, it's the way things should be. We should have an open border. We should be able to have unlimited health care for everybody. We should be able to provide whatever surgeries for whoever. We should be able to just give welfare. We should. It would be really cool. It would be also, we shouldn't have disease. We shouldn't have aging. We shouldn't have any men under 6 feet either, right? We shouldn't have, there's a lot of things that would be cool if they didn't exist. But the reality is we need a sovereign border. We can't just let anybody up into our country, right? We need to, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I'm not going to turn this into super political, but that's the truth. It's like the Democrats, the feminine is ideological. Like if everything were perfect, what would it look like? And they want to nurture that, right? So it's understandable, but it's up to Papa to lay down the law of the castle, because when push comes to shove, if something happens to your castle, your woman's not going to look to you and be like, yeah, you know what, babe, I'm sorry. We shouldn't have let that guy in. He looked kind of sketch, but, in my heart, I didn't want to be racist, or, it's really cold outside, She's not gonna apologize. She's gonna look at you at the bitter end, with both of your house on fire and both of you about to die. She'll be like, why did you let him in? Even though she was the one that was yelling at you to let him in. That's just the way it is, folks. That's just the way it is, folks. Is we gotta enforce that. We're not the nurturers. We're the realists. Okay? The mom, right? What happens after the son does something bad? The mom wants to coddle him and be like, son, everything is okay. It's okay. Dad's going to be like, you fucked up. You fucked up, son. You know, who's the one that gives the spankings? You know, when my mom tried to spank me, me and my brother would laugh. We just we'd just be like, "What? This is hilarious." When dad spanked us, oh my god. And there's also another trend. I don't want to go off on this too much, but like, there's also another trend I noticed, which is like, women like single moms, right? Like they just, God bless their souls. Like they just always have like their kids are just running amok constantly, and their kids are screaming and yelling in the background, and they're a lot of single moms like spend a lot of time trying to be in their feminine, you know, and there's thousands of dollars spent on coaching, spiritual coaching for this, like be in their feminine. They can't be in their feminine because they have children, and the children aren't listening to what she's saying because she's the mom. So she has to step into the masculine to try to get them to settle down. But it's to no avail, because even a woman in her masculine is not gonna lay down the law as much as dad is. All right, if she had a dad around, and then dad said, you know, there's just something about being dad where it's like, hey, sit down, kids. They sit down. They sit down. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to get up. You don't have to you don't have to yell. You hey. And then they're done. And so anyway, to bring it back, like, yeah, it would be awesome if men could just share our emotions and be ultra vulnerable. But it ain't the way the world works. Because even though a woman will defend to the death that should be the case, as soon as you open up and you get vulnerable to her and you get softer and you start talking about your insecurities and your fears and your doubts, bro, even though right after they just told you that it's okay for you to open up, their vocal tonality will change. They will actually get upset with you. With their vocal tonality, they will get upset with you. They'll raise their voice at you. Not like yelling, but like they're just like, oh, what are you doing? And they will get dry. Okay? That pussy will get dry as fuck. Even though right after, because guess what, dude? I have done this myself at least a dozen times. At least a dozen times. I've seen it firsthand. I've thrown away so many just to test it. Because I was raised to believe this. I was raised to believe that it's okay. And there's a part of me that wants it to be okay. But it's not. It's not, fam. It's not. That's why men need to be men and women need to be women. All right? And how do we restore balance? Men be men again. We listen to women tell us how to be. My generation, the generation before me, Lord knows Gen Z too. You know? It's all been women. Most of us were raised with single moms. Some astronomical number of our teachers are women. So like we were basically raised entirely by women. Right? And so it's up to us to look out for each other. Men need to get together again as men. There needs to be men's work. There needs to be men's only gatherings. I can go off on a whole tangent about that. I actually have a video about that. It's like only men can save each other. And it's about how women, like if you notice, women love getting into men's only gatherings. If you start to get a men's only gathering going, the women will start to poke and prod and wonder, they'll try to snoop around and see what's going on. But whenever you hear about a women's only gathering, what's your reaction? You're like, ew, I don't want to be anywhere near that. There's no part of that sounds cool to me. Unless it's like a sexual thing, right? Which it's not. It's them getting around being girls to each other. They're just like, they just turn into like this, you know, it's like this hen roost kind of thing, or what? It's just like a bunch of chickens just, and it's just like, dude, no. I don't want to be around this. I do not want to be around this. But you get a bunch of men around, right? What's a woman's best? The best thing, the best environment for a woman is a bunch of men and only her. Because she's got no one to compete with, and she's going to just make all the men compete with her. And she's got every single man that's eventually, give it time. But if it was a village, right? Obviously, if it was just an hour, whatever. But like over time, if it was a village or a little, that's how you get the homie hoppers. Is just because that's how you get the girls that I hang out with guys mostly. It's because I don't like hanging out with girls. That's because you have to compete with them. See? Anyway, that's why we need each other. Is because of things like this. All right? It's to learn that what we were raised is not the truth. It would be nice if it was the truth, but it's not the truth. Okay? And a good metric, a good litmus test to determine if what you're about to do is legit or a chode move is ask yourself this question. If all my homies, if all the men alive, if you want to make it really big, if all the men dead, alive, and unborn saw me do what I'm about to do, how would they react? Right? And if it's like they'd call you a pussy, or they'd see you being hella soft, and they'd feel embarrassed, secondhand embarrassment for you, the answer is no, don't do it. Right? But if they'd be like, savage, that dude's a savage. And that's why it's like, it's almost better to like, it would almost be better to like make an aggressive, like, not aggressive, but like maybe like a straightforward, like, pickup line. Be like, whoa, damn, like, I think you're sexy. Like, that's almost more respectable than like, babe, like, like just get all mushy with her, It's like, I'd rather see my homie shoot his shot in like a pimp ass way than like try to like lock this girl down in a bitch ass way. Anyway, if you like the video, you know what to do. Subscribe. We got plenty more personal growth related topics here. Again, my name is Ben Wexler. Talk about dating, talk about spirituality, talk about mindfulness, talk about yoga, talk about fitness, talk about a bunch of stuff. If you're seeing this, this is one of the first videos I'm posting here. Your subscription would mean a lot. Also, give it a thumbs up if you dig it. Ask any questions. Let me know any comments. Let me know what resonated for you in this video. Share the video if you think anyone can benefit. Yeah. And maybe even if you got a request, if you got a question, if you have any questions about anything that I said, go ahead and write it, and I will answer that question. If it's a dope enough question, I'll answer it in the video. All right? Until then, much love, and I'll see you next time. Peace.